let's talk about trains. Were you trying to get a train on Sunday? A lot of bad weather, a lot of snow in lots of parts of the country. But if you were trying to get a train, in particular, in particular areas, services between Liverpool and London, they didn't run for several hours on Sunday morning. Was it because of the snow? Well, it sort of was. Train services had to be cancelled after the trade union Aslef told their drivers they couldn't walk on 2 inches of snow because it didn't meet health and safety advice. Deep sighs, everybody. Let's talk to Norman Baker. He's a former Lib Dem MP and former Transport Minister and joins us now. Hello to you, Norman.
Morning, Julia. Happy New Year. It's not too late to say that.
It's a little bit pathetic, isn't it, that train drivers can't walk through 2 inches of snow to go to work, isn't it?
Well, look, I mean, whoever decided this, some shop steward somewhere has told the drivers not to drive the trains, I imagine, and they've complied with that request from that kind of overzealous official. But of course it's ridiculous. I mean, yes, the path should have been cleared, I suppose. An Alstom run the depot and could have done that. But the reaction to that is one of two things. Either you get on with it and walk through 2 inches of snow, heaven forbid, and risk your whatever you're risking, walking through 2 inches of snow and get on your train and complain afterwards that the path wasn't cleared, or actually you get a broom out and clear it yourself.
Yeah, it seems to me like the rest of us go, what amazes me, it's like when schools are closed because there's a bit of snow, it's all people might fall over in the playground and things like that. You think, but these people seem to be perfectly capable of, you know, walking to the cafe or the pub or going out to the shops or going to the local park and going sledging. It does seem as well. I mean, we can't have our country, you know, just coming to a halt because there's a couple of inches of snow. And what's extraordinary also, these are the drivers, these are all Avanti West Coast services, which are pretty bad as it is. The drivers are among those given a 15% pay rise by the new Labour government, and their salaries are just under 70 grand a year. For just under 70 grand a year for driving a train, I think you can get a shovel out and clear a bit of snow, can't you? Or, yes, I don't know, put on your walking boots or your wellies and just walk over it like the rest of us do.
Snowflakes rather than snow, I think, is probably the conclusion here. But I mean, look, there are two things going on. One is overzealous interference from a union official, which is absurd, frankly, in the circumstances. But the other thing is a kind of cultural issue about snow, because, you know, going back 20, 30 years, people just got on with it. You know, I remember being shoved out the door when I was about 6 years old in deep snow in Aberdeen told to get to school.
Totally.
And that's how it was. These days, I mean, you get to -1, -2, and the shop's shut, for goodness sake.
Do you think that's part of the issue? We've got, like, you know, the weather warnings, okay, flooding, you know, there's a risk to life, but people are dying, we understand that. And it's useful if we're told, hey, guys, it's going to be snowing, you know, don't go on, don't plan a long journey up a mountain pass. I mean, but are we not losing an awful lot of common sense, but also scaremongering an awful lot in this country about, oh, it's going to be hot, oh, it's going to rain, oh, it's going to snow? I mean, can't we, I don't know, put our noses outside the front door and go, oh, it's really cold today and there's white stuff on the ground, and work it out for themselves?
I think people are being cosseted and they're being controlled, in a sense, by whatever, by society, by governments, by organisations like Network Rail. You know, told to hold a handrail going down the escalator. Told not to, you must face the direction of travel. Told it might be wet, so watch what you're watching. Watch where you're walking.
Take a bottle of water on the train.
This nonsensical approach to taking away the freedom that people have to make up their own minds and take their own judgment on matters.
And make daft decisions if they choose. And take, people have different attitude to it. Look, I took my 9-year-old cage diving with great white sharks in Cape Town. Some of us have a different attitude to risk than others.
Yeah, and let people make up their own minds. But the idea that the world should come to a stop when it's because 2 inches of snow or because it's -1 on the thermometer is just frankly absurd. But also, you know, when I was in Sweden, the Arctic Circle, I said to Swedes up there, what happens with kids going to school in Sweden? Do they ever not go to school? He said, we stop them going to school when it gets to -48.
Yeah, we take it. Now, that said, if we lived in a country that was always very hot or always very, very cold, we would have everything, our services, our transport system geared around it. And there is actually a thing regarding, you know, gauges of the railways that we actually, you know, to have them operate most of the time, you can't have them fitted to basically how Norway would have their fitted because of the extreme temperatures they have. So there is a reason why some of our infrastructure doesn't work that well for 3 or 4 days every 5 years. And I think we can live with that. But it's about an attitude, isn't it? I think that's the key thing. And especially when, you know, trade unions pushing train drivers who've just got a massive pay rise when people are really struggling and can't get around, not running trains because they can't walk on 2 inches of snow. That doesn't sound like a very good message. Do you think, just to go back 10 seconds, do you think that actually the unions they're actually going to do more damage to their members than they're doing benefit?
I think they're harming the members ultimately, and they're certainly not helping the public who are there to serve.
Absolutely. Norman Baker, always appreciate you joining us.